We all know this because we end up halfway into a sentence half the time. So
I think you just did that.
yeah.
Good evening, Los Angeles. Welcome.
Bienvenue.
What up?
We're live, everybody. Thanks for joining us tonight. Hey, we got Tech702 in the chat. Welcome, Tech702. Also,
disregard, ban that guy.
Also, Tech Lovin' Mama. Hey, Tech Lovin' Mama. Thank you for. She's here early too. She's part of the early crew.
Wow,
man.
I was just
Thanks,
talking
Mama.
with her, by the way, helping with logo, like the last couple hours. So.
Oh, so she feels like obligated to be here. I get it
now.
You can go if you want. It's cool. You don't have to hang out just because Pepper was.
Michael guilting people into joining the stream and watching along.
But for anybody else, if you stream along with us, we will do your logos. No,
no. I told her I was like, the invitation for you to join us is still open. She's like, once I get my, thing set up.
Okay.
An actual separate spot, You've been dealing with that, Mike, with family, and all that fun joy of like.
Why am I not
trying
focused? There we go. Webcam.
It's okay. I'm not lit right either. Something weird is going on over here with my stuff, so it's all good.
Sunday on YouTube.
Or really Monday, but
Well, it's Sunday because everybody had today off.
It is. That's right. It is.
We're basically running on AI. I did an upload earlier and it took like 6 hours.
Good save.
There's no humans working right now.
No, there really is not. That's very true. No one's working and everyone's just regretting having to go back to work tomorrow. So it's like, it's a messy day today.
I mean, I'm just a droid of myself. That's why I only have facial hair. I couldn't figure out how to replicate the top.
Yeah. You've been watching some upload lately, Mr. Pepper?
No.
Oh, okay.
I do kind of feel like I should be part of, what's the series? Stranger Things or something.
Yeah. No, I can relate, man.
You already qualified for that without the haircut.
Yeah. No, I was already there. I was going to say I was numero uno, I think, on that one. Hey, what's up, Miles? Thanks for joining, man. Good to have you here.
It's good to see you.
So I know you guys we've had a busy week. We've had a weird week here in the background, but you guys wanted to talk. You wanted to spend the entire time we had tonight talking about Apple putting headphones on the box, right?
No.
Okay. Well, first off, how the hell are you doing? I mean, Mr. Pepper cut off all his hair. Mike is hiding. I'm the only one. And you know what? I'm in the wrong place.
On my top of my head, shaved most of my face, thinned this out. So I'm pretty sure like Chris and I are similar with the central facial hair right now. I got rid of the sides. So
that's ugly. You don't want that ugly face behind you.
Yeah, but it's Monday.
That's kind of funny because then it's your face behind you because I'm in the middle.
Superb Photoshop there.
Superb. Can you tell? Can you guys tell? That doesn't even look like
seamless.
It's very invisible. All right, I have to go to my Michael Pepper one.
Gary, who's in the chat,
and then we'll
had an interesting experience today where he dropped his fold from like 2 feet off a table and found out that the plastic case that Samsung includes actually does protect it because he didn't have any scratches at all. So if anybody wants to know, that's pretty good. Usually included cases are kind of awful.
Yeah. I mean,
or you could just use a phone that doesn't need one, but there's that.
I don't know of a phone that doesn't need one unless it's a rugged case.
Well, we were talking about the durability of the new iPhones. They're pretty durable as long as you don't mind the screen scratch to crap. But they don't bend but don't break, scratch but don't break. I don't know.
It is amazing. I have on my I never talked about this, and I did take a picture. I should find it somewhere. Maybe while we're talking, but I can't multitask that well. But I dropped my SE, and the phone I witnessed it fell from probably about shoulder height onto tile, and I swear there's a chunk out of the tile missing, and there's the glass screen protector. Like I watched the phone go through this like anamorphic warp almost. It was like slow. I swear I saw the thing bend, and this was evidenced by the glass screen protector destroying itself. But the phone itself was totally fine. Like I pulled the screen protector off, slapped another one on, life was good to go. I was like, so, and that's the thing. Apple is making their iPhones, which so many people don't know this. I think Rene Ritchie's the first one I heard that talked about it. But yeah, their iPhones are the glass that's on them. You can either have like glass that doesn't scratch, which used to be the old way, but that glass, it doesn't scratch is so hard, but it's also brittle, so it shatters easier. So if you want it not to shatter, you're going to go with the rubbery glass. It's not really rubbery, but it's rubbery. It's more elastic, but it scratches like hell. So yeah, it scratches just from looking at it, which is what Mike, I think, is not yet experienced, but don't tell him. But yeah.
I don't know. I'm weird in that I don't ever use screen protectors.
Yeah.
Because I would be replacing them every other day if I did, because that's how picky I am. Like, if there is a tiny little fleck of something on the screen, I have to clean it. So I'm sitting there, if I'm watching Netflix or something, constantly cleaning it. And there's no scratches on this phone.
I've been pretty good with this one.
Other than
only my second protector, and I've had this phone for like 4 months.
Other than if Harmless Carl is listening, the plastic on the inside of his cases is a no-no for the silver sides of my iPhone. When I took it off, there's scratches all over the edges.
Bro.
That kind of made me not happy. So
that is that's actually a terrible experience to put a case on a phone and it destroys it.
Although you're talking about the aluminum sides, right? I mean, you can almost rub your skin on that and scratch it.
No, it's stainless steel.
It's
right?
Stainless steel coated. Yeah, coated.
I just know the sides. The last one I had, when I had my my white one, and I took it in for Apple, whatever, the geniuses, and I took it in there, and the guy's sitting there, and he's literally like holding it this far from his face. It's a brand new phone. I had it like 3 days, and the antenna was broken or something. And he's sitting there, and he's like, before I can take it back, I need to evaluate all of the damage. And he's, I mean, literally like damn near a magnifying glass. And he goes, oh, there's a scratch there. And I go, bro, it's flawless. It's been in a case since I took it out of the Verizon store. He's like, nope, I see it right there.
Was this outside of the Apple store, outside of the mall? And did the person eventually run away with your phone?
No.
That's what I want to know. Okay.
No, he wouldn't have got far.
It's a problem because now I have to find like the jeweler's paste stuff that you can use to polish that back and fix it, because I've seen that done several times, and then put it in a different case. But for now, I'm like, I don't want to fix it and then put it back in the same case, because it's going to make it.
Y'all are making me like OCD about my stuff. So I always put the screen protectors on. I mean, I know it's a religion, non-religion, whatever. I always do glass screen protectors because I usually rock a carbon fiber case. Oh shoot. Wow. My automated voice attendant has been on since I picked up my phone, and it's talking about creating something in a barrel to float down the river. It's very neat. Someone was getting
you're going to get some customized ads very shortly.
I was going to say, but the sides are free of micro scratches. I really have no complaints, and I also have I have the green. So I think Apple, like what Apple does is when they make the colored one, I think that they try to, it's like an adventure, It's a what?
I said I'm team green as well.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Yeah, so yeah. I think they took the green and they sent it to like double coating heaven, so that if you got the green one, it was totally fine, as like Apple's little reward for you ordering the colorway instead of the black, white, or boring stuff. That's what I think anyway. But I always run a screen protector on them just because I am a little careless with my phone sometimes, and I'm usually rocking a carbon fiber case. And like I said, I would have been saying it was a Pitaka case, but they're just kind of jerky about this whole blue Pitaka case. So I think I'm done with them. I've been bugging them about a blue case, and they've been teasing us since CES and no information. And then the later case out of the blue, literally the blue, is like, yo, we're going to have a blue case coming out. It wasn't really meant to be, but kind of ended up that way. And I'm sorry.
So chat's filling up here. Appreciate you all showing up. Do you guys have anything you want to plug for the week? What's going on out there? Who do we want to shout out? Doesn't even have to be our stuff. Just what's going on.
Well, Viper had like an insomnia stream last night.
6 hours, bro. Oh my God. I jumped in, jumped out, jumped in, put the kids to bed, jumped out. Man. They were going ham on Viper stream. And then Scoop, I see you down in chat. And Bionic Scoop was on Gigi's stream last night after I've asked him like 50 times to come on our stream. And he claims it was because he finally wasn't working. But whatever, bro. Whatever. It's all good.
That Viper stream, by the way, not to take anything. I was wholly attentive to the Viper stream for a while, and then I was like, holy crap. And then they did the Roberto raid. So a bunch of folks flooded it. It was interesting, but I tuned out, and it was just weird because I had to like go do other things like get water and just other things because it was going on for a while. And I came back later and like turned on my Apple TV and I left it there. And when it came back up, I was like, oh, holy crap. It's automatically playing the Viper replay.
Well, that's what I thought.
It was still going.
Sleep, and I went back and I
couldn't believe it.
Shelly sitting there with her glass of wine, just going ham. Viper's clapping his hands. I mean, I was like, wait, what happened? This was all calm when I left. But
I know, it was very sedate.
Solid stream, bro. You win the Iron Man award for that one. Almost.
Yeah, it was a good stream though. It was Ladies Night on Vipe Live. He did have some pretty good folks on there that I will not spoil it for you. I will just say it was pretty good time. Go check it out. I don't know that you could watch all 6 hours of it. I hope Viper.
It's like Game of Thrones replay. So you gotta plan a day to watch Viper's replay from yesterday.
Yeah, you really do. You really do if you want all that knowledge in there. What do you Mr. Yeah, what do you got, Mr. Pepper? I saw you lost some weight.
Yeah, on the top of my head. Well, this week kind of was finally doing what I haven't gotten a chance to do in a while, and spent time with my family and just away from tech for a little bit. And I think that way you appreciate it more. And when you're trying to look for things, look for topics, things like that, it's one of those like, oh, I haven't seen all the same thing over and over again. And you're not bored with it. So it was one of those fulfilling weeks needing to just kind of take away for a little bit. And then I realized every video I was going to do was all the same videos that everybody else was doing this week. And so my thing is, why would I do that to myself? So better off to wait like a week or wait like till this next week.
I don't think with the way the algorithm's been going, I don't think that that's a big deal. Like there's so little content out there right now. I think of what there is, of what we're pretty much all, there's a lot of duplication, right? Like with the SE stuff, that was the only new thing for a bit. And then the Pixel thing was hot. And now that we know the Pixel's delayed till like August for the 4A, I think it's like August 6th or something.
Well, TCL was the other one too. It was like
and TCL went through it. So everybody, we're all lapping the same pool right now. So it's just everybody's different take on the same thing. So I don't really see an issue with it. I don't think it's not like live streams where you try to like organize, all right, I'm not going to step on that guy's stream or whatever. I think it's just throw it out there and we're all kind of, whatever the algorithm gives us. You see Viper snuck in there?
I know. I noticed that like right at the tail end of us discussing his ladies' night chat.
We just got done talking about the Iron Man Viper 6 hours.
Seriously, things like a marathon. It was incredible.
That's pretty cool. I don't think I could do that, but
no, I definitely couldn't. I
would be drunk by the end. So
yeah,
we promise that we will try to go to like 1/6 of that tonight.
Yeah,
this is a 1 hour stream, guys.
This is a 1 hour.
We appreciate y'all just for showing up.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's great to have. Yeah, we will actually artificially limit it to 1 hour tonight, just because I feel like I've spent so much time watching.
If 1 hour is not enough, when you're done from here, go look up how to make a souffle. And you can spend the next 5 hours doing that. The French like chocolate souffle that takes like 5 hours to make. And you could have dessert.
Wow.
Whatever works, I guess.
Or yeah, if you're looking for another, I can tell you the most. I'm gonna butcher the name. Mark Rober, I think it is, the guy that does the glitter bomb packages. Somehow he ended up in my feed, and I was watching his squirrel I don't even know what it is. Like he had squirrels that were stealing food from the bird feeder. So he went out and yes, by the way, I'm talking about another video just so everyone's aware. I mean, you recommended souffle, so I'm just throwing out completely arbitrary stuff now that if people need to fill an hour, here's you can do it. Go after this, go watch the Mark Rober thing of stopping squirrels from eating his bird seed. I'll try and find it and link it while we're chatting here. It's it's one of those videos that like you have to watch when you're, you want to like commit to something, but you're not sure what happens next. But it's at the same time, it's all kind of generally harmless and good. So, anyways,
I want to inject one thing. It's not on our plan. So my frustrations today. So really quickly, I want to address the Apple ecosystem, and Captain of Team Apple's in the chat, so he can feel free to fire back. So here's something I discovered. So I've always preferred Android. I'm not a fanboy, but it's just been my preference. So I started making, oh boy, here we go. I think we lost the whole screen. Anyways, so I've always not had a problem with Apple, but it never served my needs well enough. Well, recently I started buying all Apple stuff because as a creator, if you get all of it together, it's easier to create with Apple, generally speaking. Now, the issue I had was I have the iPhone, I have the iPad, I have all the good toys, except I don't have a Mac computer. And I ran into a situation where Wi-Fi wasn't functioning, LTE was limited, and I needed a hardline way to get my video uploaded. So what do? I plug it into my computer, which is a Windows PC. And then, of course, it has 14 different folders, and I can't find my stuff. And it just drove me insane. So Chris is like, hey, dude, you're an idiot. Go use iTunes. So I click on my iTunes, open up my iTunes. Guess what? Well, iTunes says, hey, you're using iCloud. That means you can't utilize the manual transfer because everything has to go through iCloud. So since I couldn't get it into the iCloud, I couldn't extract it back onto my PC. So basically, I'm kind of limited. I've had a great time with Luma, great experience, with AirDrop between taking the video with the phone and moving it to the iPad and then doing the videos that way. But it's absolutely sucked. Anytime anything goes wrong, and Chris is like, "We'll just buy a Mac." So that's the way he wants to solve that.
It doesn't make it any better though for manual transfers. Not really, because you still have the issue with the file thing. And then here's a fun one. Since I use LumaFusion, when you go to transfer files, you have to.
Okay, bye, Mike.
Mike. Apparently he's like, and enough. Click.
I'm done with this. Wow. I guess he really is tired of Apple stuff. He's out.
So what happened was I wanted to transfer videos into LumaFusion, but when you use iTunes, you can't transfer into a folder inside of a folder, right? So you can click on LumaFusion and you can transfer it in there. And then you go on the iPad, go into the folder app, and then move it to the LumaFusion library inside LumaFusion. So then when you go into LumaFusion, it shows up under like recent media or whatever, because they won't let you have that deep of access through iTunes. So you can transfer it into the main like root LumaFusion folder, but then it doesn't show up in LumaFusion until you put it inside the LumaFusion library folder. I don't know if you've noticed that.
I am way confused because I just go into LumaFusion and I link it to my files. I have like a location and files that I just dedicate for LumaFusion stuff, and I just created I don't know if it's a shortcut or whatever, but upper left hand corner on the default menu, and I
can do that. I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah. So I mean that's kind of why, and that's how I'll take footage off like my Osmo Mobile or something like that, and Osmo Pocket, and I'll dump it at my Mac. And then it'll be in files because it's in iCloud files. And then from there on LumaFusion, I can just pull it out of I have that like directory hot linked or whatever. So,
okay.
But I mean, Mike was having a whole issue with uploading and everything else. Did you learn your lesson, Mike? Are you back? Are you going to not insult Apple again?
Basically, I heard a little bit between my kids screaming and my cord that I kicked with my foot. But, well, I mean, real world technical difficulty.
Legit.
But basically, yeah, I'm at the point where I gotta, poop or get off the pot. Like I have to go all in, which I'm hesitant to do because I hate being stuck. Just that, and for content creation, it's great. social, all that stuff, it's good. But on those occasions where I want to do what I want to do and I don't want Apple to tell me what I'm allowed to do, it drives me insane. And so I either have to go spend more money, or just I could replace one device and be back on, the Android field. Not that I probably won't have an Android anyways, but just as far as being a creator and continuing the channel, Apple is best for the channel. It serves it best. You could get it done with Windows stuff, but as far as efficiency, it's more efficient with Apple. That's just what I've seen. And I hate saying it. It literally causes me physical pain to say that. But
Apple's always been
it's just the way it is.
The thing for creatives. It's always that's always that lifestyle, right? They've always said that. And I mean, I left Windows, and for those who don't know, I mean, I know I'm the iPhone guy and everything else, but really I left Windows as a platform the day that my company said, you don't have to do that if you don't want to, because now we've got this other stuff. And I was like, sweet. And I bought up, and I've rolled Mac personally since like 08 or so. But yeah, every time I go back to Windows, it's like, why doesn't this work? Why doesn't this do anything? And then everything's a different app. Whereas Apple has so many native things that come into it. And then, you get to like the realm of like Final Cut, which is
I haven't used Final Cut personally, but isn't that pretty much LumaFusion Pro?
It's like LumaFusion Pro. Like
LumaFusion. I was talking to Zach Talks Tech. He's like, dude, once you start, because he was helping me sort out the audio stuff, as you guys know. And he's like, dude, if you get the Mac and you go Final Cut, you're going to be like, what the hell? Why did I wait so long?
Yeah. Final Cut is smarter than me. Like, that's the only problem I have. So when I don't use it for a while, it's like I have to plunk around for like an hour.
I think this dead cat's smarter than you, but that's
just, I don't kick
computer's
cords.
Smarter than you, bro.
Most computers are smarter than me. They can outsmart me. But, I'm just glad somebody else kicked something today, because normally it's me kicking a light stand while I'm here, and all of a sudden you have like the sun blows up behind me.
Well, I don't have like you guys, I don't have this.
I noticed that you're in your reproductive cave or whatever you got going on there. Some weird
I can change colors. It's magical. But no, so you run stuff out and you're like, oh crap, it's time, whatever, just as long as I don't move. And I moved. So
I give the same advice to people. By the way, I'm just drinking water for everyone wondering. It's just boring water tonight.
Though, is that the experience as far as like if you install iCloud for Windows?
I have that.
It's crap.
It's terrible. It's awful.
Half the time it doesn't. Stuff doesn't sync appropriately.
You know what the worst part is about that?
Disconnect from your account, so you have to go in and make sure like you sign back in.
The worst part is that you think if you use iCloud, oh look, I can just pull up iCloud on my computer and then save the files, right? You can't batch save. So like all your photos, you ever try to get those mofos off of your iCloud and batch save the whole thing to like a hard disk? Good luck with that. Well, good freaking luck. Been doing it for years.
Do is go to iCloud like in your browser, and you can select multiple and then click download and hit download originals like within the browser, and then it will download them all.
But even then it's limited. I don't know what it is, but it's
you have to launch your browser, sign into that, and then the whole two-factor authentication thing. And if you don't have, and if for some reason it doesn't go to your iPhone and it goes to your iPad and your Apple Watch, which aren't on you, and that's, I don't know, there's just so many things that when they work great, they're awesome. But when they don't, they suck. But that's the same thing with all the ecosystems. Like the whole, like Windows, like with Samsung, the whole phone on Windows thing where it will show up. Well, it's great when it works, but when it doesn't, it completely tanks.
So, two things. Number one, shout out to Tana. I think we totally need to get Michael Pepper to 300. I think we need to get Tech702 to like, what are you, like 100 and something now? We need to get you up there too.
I think I have like 20.
20? No, I can't be doing better than you.
I've lost more subs. No, I'm over 100, but I've lost more subs by taking that 2-month break than I gained in the month before.
Well, it was quite a break too, you know.
And then you came back and you lost subs like every day.
Literally the first. Like, so I made my first uploads last week for the first time since February. February 27th. February 27th. I'm like, why did I subscribe to this idiot? Literally lost 3 subs the first video. Like within minutes. I'm like, I prefer just getting the dislike Like, can I just get the thumbs down? Like, don't unsub a brother. Come on,
that's
man.
horrible. I can't even believe that.
Jeez.
But
yeah, that was rough.
What was really funny is I remember when I hit 100 and then it went down to like 98 when I went to try to get the customized link. And I was like, what happened?
Oh, you were back and forth.
I was back and forth for like 3 days, and then it finally.
Did you see that, by the way? Google followed up.
YouTube. Oh yeah, 90 days.
So right? when I hit my 100, you get your custom URL when your channel hits 100 subs. And I got up to like 110, so I'm like, I want my URL, right? I want Tech702 before someone else gets it. So I put in a request through Twitter to YouTube. They hit me up yesterday. This was in end of January, beginning of February. And they're like, hey, did the issue resolve? I'm like, you waited till the pandemic was over to hit me up? What's going on?
They've been busy, man. They've been busy.
Yeah. Been busy messing up the algorithm.
Yeah. That's all they've been doing. Hey, I also, going back in the comments here, I saw Scoop mention the Osmo Pocket, and I've got to say that I've got like GoPros and iPhones and whatever, a bunch of different crap. I mean, you'd never know it because I never actually make anything with them. But that Osmo Pocket, if you go to my channel, you'll see these annoying videos when I'm not doing lives of this guy driving around and talking about stuff because it's kind of works that way sometimes. Now all that free time that I used to have to actually commute back and forth to the office is now used by working, which is totally blows that plan up. But the Osmo Mobile did all that stuff on like 90% of them. I did use the GoPro, but the Osmo Mobile is hands down, like people, it is not looked upon very favorably. Like I don't see a lot of people speaking highly of it. Like people tend to go to GoPro, and GoPro is a little bit more of an action waterproofy thing. But if you are looking at the Osmo Pocket and that is like the niche that you're headed towards, it is awesome. It is an awesome little device.
I have a buddy who he does like Disney everything. So they're like Disneyland literally like twice a week. Well, not right now, but under normal circumstances, like he has a full channel just about Disney stuff, and he swears by the Osmo. He's tried them all. He likes it. He prefers that for the way he's shooting. He does like hyperlapse through the park and all that kind of stuff.
I'm no longer drinking water.
If I remember correctly, when CES happened and Zach was doing his like what's in my backpack, like my kit to take to CES, I'm pretty sure one of the things he touched on was the Osmo Pocket and using that to shoot some of his footage. And then I think he just ended up using his iPhone most of the time.
I was there, and I could tell you
how stable it was. He was like,
every single person I ran into had an iPhone with a dead cat on it. That was the setup for everybody. All your favorite YouTubers.
Well, he discovered it was things like, oh, you got to make sure the battery's charged. Oh, if you aren't holding it just right, it doesn't have like a large display to know you're framing things just right. There's all sorts of other, and most of our smartphones, the stability that's built into there is incredible. And
so the thing that the Pocket does differently than everything else is it is a mechanical gimbal. So like if you're sweeping and you're moving it around, like the iPhone does a really, really good job with the optical image stabilization, but it's a big thing. It's a big honking thing. And sometimes that movement can get captured in the video. The Pocket is like so tiny and so light that, I mean, I don't want to say like go swing it around like a bat. I mean, the thing will still make your footage look like garbage, but it's easier to get that way. The thing that's challenging on it though, and this is why I'm betting everyone who's using iPhones, obviously, it's because the screen's bigger. On the iPhone, obviously. On the Pocket, it's this little tiny screen. And depending on how bad you want to screw yourself, you can set like to only show like the zoomed center of the frame in the Pocket, which it's the little 1x1. I mean, I've got it 10 feet away. I can go grab it, but it'll just show. And I did that one time where I thought it was, I was like, holy crap, I can't believe this. I'm perfectly in frame in my car. Little did I realize it was just like running in like a wide mode, and it was really capturing not at all what I wanted it to inside of my vehicle, but it was because of where it was zoomed and because of where I had selected it to, it was zoomed in right away. But yeah, you do have to remember to keep it charged, but it's handy because you can attach it to the phone, you can whatever. And it also charges via USB-C. And if you connect a USB-C cable to it and to an iPad Pro, you can just dump everything right into the iPad Pro, which is exactly the opposite experience that Mike was just talking about with his iPad Pro, except, a little bit of the inverse. So
Yeah, this is the DJI Osmo 3, and it's kind of the best of both worlds because I consider getting a Pocket, but now I can carry my iPhone or my Note, whatever your phone is, and this is cool because it has its own software that goes on either platform, and it fits in a pocket. But when you don't want it, it's not like you have a whole nother camera with you, you know. So it's it's pretty chill.
So it's funny. I had one of those. Currently, Dr. Donna has it. I haven't seen her around lately, but I sent it out her way after some discussion, and we'll see what happens next with that entire thing. I won't get into that here, but
Dr. Donna with a gimbal. I'll watch that channel. I will watch the hell out of that channel.
But there's two awesome things about that device that people don't necessarily realize. If you buy the one that has that little tabletop tripod on the bottom of it, on that Osmo Mobile, or what is that? It's not the Osmo. Yeah, it's the Osmo Mobile 3, right? Yeah. It has that little. It is a tripod mount on the bottom of it, and some of them actually come with a little tabletop tripod. That thing is totally money for making like transition shots, because you can make it right in and then aim the camera down and set it on the table, and it looks like you have like a flight cam or something coming in and doing a product review that way, which is it's like seamless, I guess is what I'm saying. You can have like a seamless edit because you can literally come in and land it gently on a table with that tripod sticking out the bottom that'll never get in your shot. When you put it down, bam. The other thing is, and I'm going out on a limb here, I'm pretty sure it's Moment. I hope it's Moment now. I've got to check my facts, because I think it's the Moment app that I've got that also connects to it. So if you have Moment lenses and you are rocking that gimbal, you can actually say, hey, I'm running this lens and I'm controlling this Osmo Mobile instead of the DJI stuff. You can rock the Moment app, which is really handy and they even have like a counterweight set and all this other stuff.
I'm wondering what they do though. That the DJI app is pretty dope. Like between the tracking, the facial tracking is the big thing. So like when I do stuff, I haven't really done it recently, but when I was practicing and setting everything up, you can literally use like a lav mic, and it will track your face, and you can walk around by yourself, one woman crew, equal opportunity. But you can basically go around the room.
Genders.
Dude, I don't have time for the alphabet. My point is all the way around the room or whatever the product is you're talking about. Okay. And then it tracks you. And I've done videos for family and stuff at parties and birthdays and stuff like that. And I'll make them like a little cool video. And they're like, how did you get that thing to track us? But you were in it. That's how with that DJI software.
It's Google.
I've seen there are some content creators that will what they'll do is they'll put 3 of those in a room. So they'll have like one to the side, and then 2 of them that would be in front and to each side from them, and then they'll move, and then you can just grab whichever from each and put them together, so you can get like side view and like front angle views and stuff, and switch, or even like a top view slightly up from one. And it's
crazy because you remember The Matrix came out in like 98, right? And that was like that first bullet time stop motion. Now you can buy those. Like like that was like $100 million movie, and no one had ever seen it before. 20 years later, it's like my 5-year-old can do it. It's ridiculous how far it's come. And so that's production, cheating production.
That brings me to a venture that I've been going through this week.
Hair clippers.
And the dealing with DJI and trying to decide which drone to go with. And realizing that the advantages of the Air 2 over the Mini as far as like object and people tracking, and
the Mavic Air 2.
The Mavic Air 2, if you move behind a tree, it will like pause for a second and then it picks you back up. So it knows the motion that you're going in and things like that. So I'm assuming that they're using, because that has the gimbal cam, that they're using that same technology from that in there. And it's also got a slightly larger sensor and things of that nature.
But if you're attempting to dip behind a tree to say relieve yourself, then it will also detect that, and it will come over and find you to create the footage that you have to clear out and delete.
So
only if you're doing a live stream and testing it there.
So look forward to some interesting extreme review stuff coming up with using a drone for the first time. And also I kind of want to do some fun things with like using the drone to capture me for like as I'm reviewing my MacBook and things like that. So,
just
because I think it would be different, like have the thing come flying by and I'm holding it.
Well, I was just gonna say the thing to be careful of. I mean, I actually thought you got it already, judging by your hair, because I was thinking like he got the drone and he's trying to fly it indoors. So the Air 2 I would not recommend for indoor flight unless you happen to have a gymnasium where you reside. That's the only thing. I mean, for you having never flown anything before, go somewhere where there's like nothing to fly it into. Is my first piece of advice.
Goal. So. I'm going to a football field. So.
Okay. I wouldn't go during like any. Wait, never mind. It's totally empty right now. Yeah, you're good.
Yes. So
what's new? Did anything come out this week?
TCL. Oh wait, sorry.
No, actually, nothing new came out this week yet.
That's actually the news.
Like what's short? Like I don't remember anything. And remember this Friday, it was like super quiet. Like normally there's been like tons of streams stepping on each other and all kinds of stuff. And Friday was actually super chill. So I'm like, did nothing happen this week? Like, am I out of the loop?
I think the world was expecting to hear about the Pixel 4a. I was
supposed to get stuff on May 22nd, Friday. There was some, discussion of this Pixel coming out, and there
sounds like August
of some other. Then there was also discussions that OnePlus would drop the. Was it the OnePlus Z or whatever? Or the OnePlus X, the cheap version of their.
The Z,
affordable, budget friendly.
We
don't say.
But
cheap.
then that didn't happen, and Google didn't drop their Pixel, and nobody dropped anything that was presumed to have been in place to be released.
Nope.
So that's kind of curious. And I'm wondering if everybody's just going to wait till June, and it's going to be one of those moments like everybody knows that WWDC is coming June 20 something, and then they're going to all like try to pull on Apple what Apple usually does to the other companies. Like last year, they did the whole thing to OnePlus where they basically did their thing on the same day, and OnePlus pushed theirs to the next day then. And so I wonder if all these companies are going to try to do the same thing. And I would warn them to not do that, because I'm pretty sure that's something they will lose.
It depends if Apple does all the stuff that Prosser's reporting or not. If that stuff comes out this year, that's a slam dunk. But it's almost like it's a wasted year. Like Apple, they're very calculated, obviously, in what they do. So are they going to use a game changer when they don't have to? They can put that in their pocket and drop it in February. You know what I mean? Stuff like that, because everybody's pushed back. Everybody's iterative this year. Probably the best phone will be the Fold 2 between now and the end of the year. As far as like anything new, they strengthen the glass, they add a stylus. Like I'm just speculating, but potentially iPhone 12 is going to be iterative. Note's going to be iterative off the S20. So, I mean, what else is there? Why would they waste Apple Glass or, something along that announcement when they don't have to? Because it's definitely not going to be available anytime soon. So why not wait till the market picks up and then be like, Apple Glass?
Well, I think they'll play the game. I mean, I don't think it'll be available. They might have this is such whatever, not to spin all the hype, but I mean, it's such a revolutionary product. I could see them doing like a dev model, releasing a dev model late 2020. I think you're going to see something where they announce it in the fall or whenever the hell they announce the iPhone 12s. You're going to see that, and then you're going to see it, potentially be available like the following early summertime. Kind of, I would almost track it exactly with what they did with the original Apple Watch. I mean, you could get it they announced it in September, you could get it in April. But when they announced it in September, it was like, look at this thing, check it out, see you soon.
Or what they did with like
AirPower.
AirPods, like the AirPods, they do that too. They'll announce it at the same time and then not release it right away.
Yeah.
It would be smart for them to just release what they normally are, expected to release, like, because people are gonna buy it because it's an iPhone, right? So if they're thinking, oh, this year is kind of going bad with smartphone sales from other companies, we're not gonna do it. They're gonna release the iPhone 12 because it won't matter. People are gonna buy it, but anything that's new stuff that they want people to look into and they want to take serious and they want development to go into, They should push off to February, maybe February or April. I would say February would be a good time, because usually March and April is Mac stuff. And then there was discussion of new iMacs and maybe even an updated 16-inch MacBook Pro along the lines. I think it would be smarter,
like the 14,
or like the Apple glasses, to be released in February, kind of like when they do the AirPods and the Apple Watch, and then do their March, April stuff with their Macs, and then they can just float through until they're gonna do the iPhone. I guess it would be the 13 series next year.
Before all this started, Apple was alluding to the fact of doing 2 phone events per year. They wanted to move to that like Samsung does. And I don't know if this is going to change that, because it would be funny, because, Sammy usually drops their Note and stuff in August, and then they drop the S series in March, right? It would be funny if Apple kind of did the same thing, where they start showing up in August just the crap on the Note launch, and then show back up in March again
and roll away.
They could. That's what they wanted. They talked about doing that. I read multiple stories about doing that, but prior to all this taking place.
Well, it's funny because originally, like if you go back to when the iPhone 10 came out and the Note 8 came out that year, and technically the Note 8 in some markets, it was for like 2 weeks, it was the first like smartphone to break the $999 price point. And then the iPhone came out. But then every year after that, it's been the iPhone comes out September, and then the Note launches like October, as far as actual like launch available in store days. So they flip-flopped with each other. And so I see where you're going. It makes sense that they would just continue that. That Apple would be like, oh, we're just going to push our stuff now.
The shareholders, it comes down to dollars and cents. The third and fourth quarters this year are going to be awful. So Apple, even if they're not showing growth, they want to show less losses than everybody else. So that it instills, I think, fourth quarter, when all the stimulus wears off and stuff starts setting in of what all this cost, people aren't going to have, investment money, extra money to be putting in stocks. So they're going to make sure. And then, of course, the retirements are going to readjust. People aren't going to have as much money in tourist stuff, et cetera. They're going to want it in solid. So Apple wants to be there to say, hey, you guys want a safe place to put your retirement?
Yep.
Put it with us. That's what this is about. This is about not losing the fourth quarter completely. And that kind of goes to what Gary said. You're going to always have that annual, and it's turned into biannual from annual, because it's now a game of you have to show growth, but the technology is not really growing. It's mostly iterative. So if you have iterative stuff, you have to make it exciting twice a year, or people will forget. We forget 5 minutes ago as a country, especially in the States.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever happened last week, we don't even care who got canceled. It's who's getting canceled today, right? Marketing is the same way with buying products. That's it.
And it's always, I mean, it's so funny when you think about when the iPhone first came out and the big lag in some of those changes. I mean, Apple was pretty good about getting after it very, very quickly to establish this cadence, but some other people didn't respond the same way. It took probably about 2 years from 2007. I think it was around 2010 that we started seeing everybody coming in and hitting with the year schedule. And then Apple, it's weird. I wonder how much this has this whole event, I'll call it, the global health event, has really upset Apple's game plan versus, their game plan versus reality, I guess I'll say. Because I mean, they still shipped the SE in the middle of this thing, which I know I've different than everybody else, but
stimulus money covered that.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. It's genius.
I'm going to say something that's kind of bold here, but if you think about it, if you think about the market that Apple focuses on, they're kind of aimed towards like 1% in a way. Like if you think about a lot of their products are aimed towards high priced. They don't sell stuff at like cheap end and things like that. Even like the original Macs were aimed at like business.
That shifted with the iPhone,
not necessarily everything, and that kind of shifted with the iPhone.
Yeah,
if
that's
you think about it,
to get people indoctrinate younger people that can only afford a $400
think their
phone.
idea is going to be, well, we know that we have enough people that aren't as financially displaced in our market, so we'll just release it anyways, because we know if we can have like 95% of our people aren't affected and 5% are, versus maybe another company that has like the opposite.
That's true.
And it's unfortunate that that's how it is in a way. Like, I wish that they would market them more across the board, but
very good observation.
That's just something I'm thinking I've noticed, and even the SE said that was like, because yes, they had it in the pipelines and it was already ready, and then this thing happened, but they're not going to just pull back and hope that we can release it later when things are better, because who knows? They don't know how long this is going to last even. I mean, for all we know, it could start all over again. I hope not.
Well, I think that's the other part of this
so you can't just
the Q4
stop technology and hope that like the world is going to turn around somehow and you're just going to delay it. So what's going to happen? You're going to have like the iPhone 12 and it's going to be released in 2024 because things, no. And then other companies will take advantage of it because, Samsung isn't going to stop. LG isn't going to stop. No other companies are going to.
Chinese companies won't care.
Yeah,
they will not.
Chinese companies don't.
They will not,
whatever,
because they're like,
care less.
Well, no, because I mean, what's the facts? They can control their population. If they want to end the spread of something, like everybody here, not to get all political or anything, but in the United States, we're free. We don't want to listen and comply. We're like, I'm going to do my thing, but it makes these things last a long time. In China, man with gun shows up at your door and says, guess what? You're not leaving today until this is over. So they have a lot more control in that aspect of it,
and
of what happens with this too.
Is the Chinese companies, they're already in the country where they're shipping most of their products, right? So you don't have issues with like delays of stuff, like for example, Apple manufacturing in like Korea and India and South America and China and different countries to get it to United States and to get it to other markets. You have a lot of people in China, India, that area of the world. The US only accounts for 4% of the world's population. So they're not affected by it as much, not having to get things to the US as much as Apple kind of relies on US market quite a bit. And so does Samsung. I mean,
well, for their higher
they're not even the top 2 in the rest of the world. So that's.
I think Sammy has a hold in like the UK and Europe too.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one place where Sammy takes the lead over Apple, and when you get to places like that.
I think that's something that I've been thinking about, is that these companies don't really have to consider that the same, because our population just isn't that massive out of the whole grand exposure of things. It's just.
Well, for the last topic today, we're going to keep you guys right around an hour, so keep our word. I mentioned that I'm, experimenting with maybe going to Mac, changing my audio setup, stuff like this. And I know primarily Pepper, I don't want to get all into lenses and focal lengths and all that stuff right now. But chat also, feel free to chime in with your experience or recommendations. I'm at the point now where I need a better camera. I'm using an iPhone. That's cool. But there's times where I don't want to use my phone, or I need a better picture, or, maybe a better thumbnail or whatever. But I don't necessarily want to go spend $1,200 on a full setup. So can I get away with a webcam? Is this new Sony supposedly dropping a new product made for vloggers and YouTubers? It's supposed to be just for video and some still type stuff. It hasn't come out yet, so I don't really know I'm just hearing hints of it. But as far as Mike, you're pretty pro at this stuff, and also chat, if you guys want to chime in, should I be looking at considering a streaming camera? Like right now I'm using this webcam and I tried shooting videos on it, and even though it's 1080, it looks like garbage.
So what I would say is if you're considering something like that, you would need to look at a higher, more expensive webcam because of sensor size. So you'd be looking at like what's the LG one, Chris? It's like, was it like $400 right now? Normally $200. The 4K one. It's been selling on Amazon for like double its normal price. You know what I'm talking? That's the.
You mean the Logitech one, the Brio?
The Logitech one, yeah.
Yeah, it was like $199, and
that one's pretty good. Like, I'm impressed by that, but it's normally $199, and it's been selling like $300-$400. I think it's back down in price now.
I'm surprised Apple didn't release like a really dope creators camera, because all their webcams suck and all their laptops and stuff, and be like, here you go. You want to have a good camera? Here's $600, and you can make your YouTube videos with it.
In all honesty, that does surprise me, because they did at one point have a web camera. It was Chris, do you remember the it looked
eyesight.
like it had a tube, and then there was all like the holes in the sides of it for the microphone pickup and everything. And that was actually pretty good. Like, considering the time when that was released, if they were to release an updated version of that, I think it would be amazing. And yes, they get mocked a lot for the whole 720p thing. Part of it's just physics. Part of it is they would have to make the lid of their computers thicker to support the actual sensors and things like that. And so they would rather have as good of a 720p camera as they can, and they know most people are going to use it for like FaceTime and some other things, then try to jam like a 1080p camera in there that is going to be trash, and even in good lighting isn't going to be good, and things like that. And they know that most people are probably going to use their iPhone or an iPad for other things, and they just put it in there so that it's there. So at least you have it.
Mama says she has a Surface Pro 4 with a pretty dope front camera on it.
Yes, Surface has been really good with their.
Or like Dell is putting them in their XPS at the base instead of at the top, because there's like more room down there.
A lot of them are doing that for privacy too. They have a little thing that that you manually slide over, so it's not like software-based button where you could override it. It's actually a physical. You slide it, and when you do that, it disables it. Plus, it disables the microphone. Physically disables it. Like, you can't override that out. It's disconnected.
Oh, that's a big thing now, because we're all worried about that.
And then Windows Hello is great, because you pop the thing open and it's right there, so you don't have to look up. Most of the time when you sit down, unless you're looking right up when you first sit down, you pop the thing open, it's right in the middle. The only thing that would be weird is it's kind of up your nose.
Yeah.
Well, the problem I have is double chin, so it needs to be up here, because this is like, try to avoid up above.
Gary says his Naki's video was shot on the iPad Pro. By the way,
iPad Pro. What about GoPro? Those videos look awesome, but I feel like that what is that? That curved? What do they call that?
The fisheye wide angle.
Yeah, and I feel like that's not
spherical.
I mean, it's cool for B-roll, right?
Right.
Like, if you want to throw that in there, and I'm in here in Vegas, I could do all kinds of dope B-roll. But I feel like for the serious side, when I want to focus in on stuff, that's not really going to meet my needs.
Yeah, GoPro is you can change the views and different things, but it's made and built to be a widescreen camera, and for capturing like 120 or 130 degree field of view, and you can get it like even wider, I think, now, depending if you're going to super wide or what you're doing. But for interview type stuff or for vlog type stuff, the Fusion, I think is it the Fusion or the Max now, whatever, the 360 one looks pretty decent for that if you're considering a GoPro. But of course, you just took like the $300 GoPro and made it $600 or $700 by doing that. But they do have like a shotgun mic sort of add-on looking. It's not really.
I feel like once you go over $500, you got to get a dedicated camera that's made.
Well,
I feel like,
and an action I don't think there's an action camera out there that actually does that. Quite honestly, the Osmo Pocket. I'm not saying it's going to suit all your needs, because it won't. I don't think it can actually be used as a webcam. It would probably catch on fire if you did that with it. But for like everything else, it is.
And knowing the kind of interface that I'm looking at going with my audio, to be able to combine that and sync that up with the video is also paramount to making an investment.
So Sony
once you go over that $500 price point, you might as well be looking at like a Canon M50 or a Canon M100. You can get a kit that would come with like a pancake lens, basic lens that would do, that would be great for using it as like a webcam or shooting stills and things, or like the Sony A6000 or the 6100, because I've seen some really, 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 really good deals with those cameras lately with a lens.
Yeah, that's because they're getting there's newer stuff.
They're getting older.
Yeah, I think
they're still really good.
I can't remember which one. I bought one of them when it came out, and I returned it because, quite honestly, I did use my iPhone for producing all the videos that I delete. Between that and the Pocket, I was pleased. And this is just so everyone's aware, this is actually the Logitech StreamCam, which got a lot of hate as well.
That's what I'm using. I was just saying in the chat.
Yeah, I use the C920. I mean,
no. This is actually the Logitech StreamCam, though. This is the one that's like $200 or $175, and it's just the 1080p camera. It's got a funky, I don't know, it looks a little bit different, and it got all sorts of shade from people. But I love it. I had a 920 before, I think. And sorry, my chat is like stuck and it doesn't like to scroll, so I have to go and tickle it. But
it's okay.
The thing I wanted to mention though is this. So two things to note. Like I would say your bailout secondary cam, if you want to keep it over 500 but less than a G, the Canon G7X Mark III, I believe it is. I have a Mark II.
The G7 I've heard a lot about lately.
The Mark III, I'm gonna like look it up while we're talking here, because I know that the 2 is great, and the problem is you could not do webcam stuff with it because you couldn't get the damn data off of the overlay.
See, it's got to be
it would
dual
go to
purpose.
Sleep. Yeah, so the 3 would do that. The 3 I believe has that, and the 3 I think also has it does have a mic input. Yeah, and actually it does support. Yeah, so actually the 3 is wow. The 3 is actually, it's $699. So you can't change lenses. You can't do this, but it would do for like, probably 75, 80% of what you want to do. However, the thing Sony's supposed to be coming out with is the ZV-1, which I would wait to see whatever the hell that thing is before I jumped on anything, because Sony, if you've never used or shot with a Sony RX100, like the older ones they still take amazing pictures. The new ones continue to get better and better features, but they actually have, for what that camera is doing, it takes phenomenal pictures in such a tiny space. And it looks like the ZV-1 thing that they're coming out with is supposed to be like a live stream. So the problem.
Yeah, I figure that might be my number then, but people warned me about Sony formatting. But I mean, whatever. If it's one extra step, but it's a one size fit all solution otherwise, then who cares about one extra step?
I'm wondering if this will come up with some more compatible formats or something. Maybe that's what, they'll come out with a new codec or something that they're going to do. I mean, I doubt it, but at the same time, it's just an extra step in things. The biggest problem in the past with Sony cameras, from what I understand, and I think Shannon Morse was complaining about this. I don't know if she made an actual video about it, but she was saying that they overheat way too easily for doing like a live stream. Now I know some people use like the A series stuff for doing their live streams, so it can't be all Sony's. But like the RX100, I think is one that would definitely overheat if you were trying to do live stream stuff with it. So hopefully this new one will have a little bit more ability to handle heat better. There's a lot of rumors out there about it right now. But the good news is the best one says that they're going to drop it like tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern time. So
it's tomorrow? I didn't realize that. Okay.
It'd be awesome to see.
That's dope.
Because the cool thing that Canon's been doing, I noticed lately, and they've done some software updates, is just being able to just plug your camera in with USB and use it as a webcam instead of having to use like the Cam Link or one of those things. To see these companies doing that, where it's just straight up right into webcam mode instead of having to invest in extra hardware is really nice. Plus, if that's camera hardware based and not just like you got to load a driver or some sort of software and have it open on your computer, is nice, because then you could potentially use it with any device that can support connecting a webcam up like that, because not all not all computers are going to have drivers for that thing.
We'll see what happens tomorrow. I see a couple of
files, so.
That was weird. You went quiet and then you started talking again, but you didn't stop talking. I just heard you stop talking. my bad. I was like, oh wait, I'm an ass. Anyways, I guess that's how you bring a stream to an end. Tech for your needs. I see that Canon M50. I have a buddy that uses one of those. I guess it's just going to be a wait and see thing. We'll see what Sony drops tomorrow, and I'll have an update for you guys next week. Maybe I'll buy something. Maybe I won't. I don't know. I feel like it's time to graduate past the phone. So I'd like to get all of my equipment together so I can put all these pieces together and up my production quality. I have all these cool ideas for videos, and I'm limited by my technology and my ability. So I can only do so much. I don't want to spend a long time learning how to master something when it's going to change. So I'd rather get my equipment. That's what I'm going to use. I know it can do what I need it to do. Yeah. And then I'm the only bottleneck. And that's kind of where I want to get with all that stuff. With that said, we are at our hour. Chat, you got anything else for us? Anything you want to talk about real quick? We appreciate you guys for coming out. I know it's Memorial Day, and let's not forget the difference between Memorial Day and Veterans Day. Today is for the ones that gave all. So we salute them. Take a minute at some point, pour out a drink, take a shot. Just remember what it's really all about, and appreciate the life we have. Chat, pay for. Yeah, that's true. You get what you pay for. Just sucks because I'm cheap. Pepper, I'll throw it back to you.
Thank everybody who came on through. Tech for your needs. Jason, Tech Lovin' Mama, Gary, Tana, Gigi, Big John Tech Reviews, K Hodge, Viper. Let's see, I think.
Had a lot.
LB. And if I'm Bionic Scoop.
Yep, Scoop's there. Jason. Say Jason.
Miles, and that's everybody that was in chat, and anybody who wasn't in chat who's watching, anybody who catches this on the replay, thank you all. And thank you, Chris. Thank you, Mike.
Glad to be here. Thank you guys as well.
And everybody stay safe.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for all joining us on Memorial Day, and God bless.
Be well, folks.